Isabella and I, that's my wife, we planted a church in the city of Derry back in Ireland. And we had a lady come to the church, and she was amazing. Her name was Concepta. She was from a Catholic background, named after the Immaculate Conception. And she just shortened it to Septa. And Septa knew God. She loved God. She was passionate about God. But she was a bit short-sighted. And when she used to drive, like she was up here. How many people have the seat right up and the drive like this here? Actually, she was beyond it. She was on the dashboard and she was driving like this here. So close. And Septa one day was out driving, normal day, but she saw a family to the side, and it was raining. That's called all year in Ireland, okay? It was raining, and she saw this family, and they were walking. It was mom, dad, little girl. They're walking down the road in the rain, holding like their bags of groceries. And Septa looked at them. She said, "Oh, you're not from around these parts." And it turns out that they were from Iran, and they just arrived into the country. And Septa drove past them, and she said, "Oh, God bless them." And God went, "No, you bless them." And she said, "But Lord, I'm so busy." And he said this, "Are you too busy to do my will? Give them a ride." And good old Septa put the handbrake on, spun round, slid across the dashboard, and just pulled up alongside them and said, "Do you want to ride? Do you want to ride?" And they were like, "Oh, well." She said, "Yeah, you do." She's a strong Irish woman. They were like kidnapped at that point. "Get in the car." And they got in the car, and they didn't know much English, but Septa knew lots of English. And she talked the whole way and then brought them up to their house. But before she let them out of the car, she simply said this. She said, "Would you like to come to my house for lunch on Sunday?" And they were like, "Oh, yes, you do. That's so good. I'll collect you at 10 o'clock. For lunch on Sunday?" "Yeah, because you should come to church with us first. We always have church before we have lunch." And they ended up coming to church. And I remember that the first Sunday they ever came in, Miriam and her husband, the little girl, beautiful family, they came to church. And then the relationship with Septa continued to develop. 3 months later, Septa just thinks, "I should tell them about that day." So dad's upstairs putting the daughter to bed, and the mum, she's downstairs. Miriam is talking to Septa, and Septa says to her, "Do you know what? Remember that day I gave you the ride?" "Yes, Septa." "Well, I really felt God told me to do that." And immediately Miriam started crying. Septa was like, "Don't freak out. I'm not going to hit you with a Bible, And she said, "Are you okay?" She said, "Yes, Septa. What you need to know is that day," and I don't know how this all works, everyone, "I looked at my husband and my daughter. The rain was coming down. We're carrying the bags. We're so lonely. We know no one in the country. And I cried to God, 'God, would you send someone to help us?' And you pulled in immediately." She said, "Like an angel." Wow, everybody. And that's not even the best bit. That whole family came to Christ. They became Christians. They got the living water, everybody. And listen to this. I remember one Sunday morning in our church looking out, and there was 45 people from the great nation of Iran in our Sunday morning service. All because one woman listened to the living God. Isn't that amazing? And I want to encourage you with this. Be ready for divine interruptions in your life. Be ready for the detours that God will bring to your life. Please don't be boring and try to do life yourself. Say, "God, what do you want me to do today?" And some people are going, "Well, if I see physically the finger of God come from heaven and point at someone, I will stop." No, just be a kind person, be a generous person, be a loving person. Get your words and let God interrupt your everyday by connecting with real people.